Hi guys, welcome back to my channel for the love of glitter. Today I'm going to be talking about one of Colourpop's new eyeshadow palettes, which is called Elements of Surprise. So Colourpop has launched like a bunch of new palettes on their website, as well as now they've come to Sephora. So picking and choosing which one you want is a little bit difficult. I went with the Element of Surprise because I felt like it was the most unique out of what I have. I feel like a lot of the other colors were gorgeous, and I'm sure they work beautifully, and I'm sure I could recommend them without even trying them, but I just felt like I had probably most of those colors in my collection already. This one I felt like had a good range of pops of colors as well as some wearable neutral colors. So it's a magnetic palette. There is no mirror, which makes me sad. And on the back you have the list of the names. This palette retails for $16, which I think is a great deal for a palette, especially since when you buy a single shadow from Colourpop, they are $5, so you definitely are getting your money's worth, even though the sizes are smaller. But I find that when you get an eyeshadow palette, it does take quite a long time to really hit pan. So I think that it's a really great deal. I swatched all of these yesterday, and some of them I had trouble swatching, but it was mainly this shade down here, which is called Sea Star. And this shade is like a brown with maroon and gold flecks of glitter. So that one kind of was a little bit patchy and I had to build up, but on my eye it works just fine today. One shadow that some people may love or hate is this one right here. It's called Peace of Mind. It is a beautiful kind of raisiny brown shade, and that everyone really likes. And actually these shades are normally really patchy. This one was the opposite. It was just so powdery, so it kind of almost reminded me of the same quality as the Anastasia Subculture. Like, you get a ton of kick up, you do get fallout, but it is really pigmented, so you just have to be a little bit more careful with Peace of Mind, so just keep that in mind. But the rest of them I felt like performed really well. Some of the best shades that felt the best were this like hot pink one, which is called Subdue, and then you have this one called Blank Canvas. Those ones swatched like butter. The thing I love about this palette is not only the color arrangement, but you just get such a different variety. You get 3 duochrome shades. You get this one right here, which is called Feels. This one is such a cool shade, and I'm like so scared it's just not gonna get picked up correctly, but it is like a kind of like a peachy tone color, but it has so many flecks of like green in it and blue, and it's just really cool. Like, from afar and in pan it just kind of looks like, oh, it's just another shimmer shade, but it's not. It has some reflect in there and it's really interesting. Next duochrome is this first one, and this is kind of like the most highlighting shade that you get, and this is like one of those shifts to pink. It's like white to pink, and it's okay. It's not the best one. It looks a little bit chalky, but it still works, and I still think that it's cool that they added it to the palette. And then the other one, that one was called Rayon. And then the last duochrome shade you have is this awesome purple called Opulent, and it is like this lavender with blue flecks, and again, I don't know how well it's going to pick up, but you do get 3 duochrome shades in there, and they are all gorgeous. The more I played around with this palette, the more and more it began to remind me of the Huda Beauty palette, the Desert Dusk palette, which is absolutely amazing. I know I haven't reviewed it. If you want a more in-depth review on this, let me know. I did plan on doing one. Pregnancy has kind of gotten in the way, which I will do a pregnancy vlog update soon. It's just nothing bad, just me like having the motivation to film has been very difficult. So if you do want to still see an in-depth review, especially since I know Christmas is coming around and maybe you're not sure if you want to put this on your wish list, let me know and I can definitely do that. But it started with that purple kind of iridescent color, and I was just like, that reminds me of the Huda Beauty palette. So I'll show you them side by side, and side by side they don't necessarily look identical or anything, but there are some shades that are very similar. Plus you have a lot of duochromes in the Huda Beauty palette as well that are kind of similar. The difference between the duochromes and the Huda Beauty versus the Colourpop is the Huda Beauty ones are like sheer glitter toppers, so you do get the iridescence, and like when I swatch it you can tell it's like super sparkly. But the Colourpop actually has some like color payoff in the background, so you don't have to necessarily put it on top of anything. It can stand alone for itself. So I actually prefer that more than having a glitter topper, but I still think the Huda Beauty glitter toppers are beautiful. But like I said, but they do like wipe away easier, so I would use a sticky base for the Huda Beauty palette. And for Colourpop, you don't really have to mess around with it, like you're going to get that effect. On the top we have our Colourpop shadows, and on the bottom are the Huda Beauty palette shadows. Now I had these swatched earlier and I put my shirt on, and all the Huda Beauty toppers just completely faded and the Colourpop ones are still there. So I had to rebuild the Huda Beauty ones. As you can see, there's some really close, really similar shades. Not complete dupes, but I still feel like the shades are close enough that you could kind of create the same type of look. Is it a 100% dupe for the Huda Beauty palette? No, but there are definitely some really great alternatives, and for the price you can't go wrong. So I feel like if you know you're not going to be able to get your hands on this but you really want this, don't pass up on this palette, because it's probably the closest thing you can get right now without buying shadows singly, which can get expensive. So this is $16 versus $60+ dollars. So just to keep that in mind. Again, I do really love the Huda Beauty palette, nothing against that. This is just something that I found to be a great alternative. And even if you weren't interested in this and you were just wondering about this palette, this is a really good palette. I like it because you can create some purpley tone colors, you can create some funky colors, and then you can also do really neutral eye looks as well. So I think that they did a really great job at putting the color scheme together, because it's definitely one of the most unique palettes I have in my collection, even though it reminded me of the Huda Beauty palette. But I mean, it's not just a bunch of neutrals, and then it's not just a bunch of pops of colors. I just feel like they did a good job at implementing both. So love it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what Colourpop palettes you guys picked up. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing, and be on the lookout for more videos.